Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of the stage tutorial series. This time we're going to focus on how to add collision to stages. I made a quick test stage which we are going to use for this tutorial. It's basically just a World Tournament stage, but I added a few objects to it, and we're going to give those new objects collision. So first you need to download the stage template folder. You can find the download link to it in the video description. And once you get it, we need to install the test stage. Assuming you got the patcher installed, you just need to drop the folder and the .map in the data stage folder in your Xenoverse 2 directory. And I'm quickly going to show you how the stage will look right now in the game. First thing to mention is that there aren't any collision in the stage currently. You can also see that the new objects that I added to the stage, and I separated them into two parts. On one side you will be able to walk on, and on the other side you will just float on the object. So what we need to do now is to get the stage models in our 3D editor, so we know where we need to place our collision. First, we are going to work on the float objects. Those are in bften04.nsk. To unpack the NSK, just drag and drop it onto NSK Pack. This will give you a EMD and a ESK. Now convert those two with EmdFbx to get a FBX file. And you can now import the FBX in a 3D editor. I'm going to use 3ds Max for this tutorial. You only need the meshes in the scene, so you can delete everything else. When you build your collision for a stage, you can use 3 shapes for it. Those would be boxes, spheres and cylinders. The important part is, when you build your collision layout, is that you can't rotate your object. A box that's rotated like this, for example, will break your collision. So the box needs to face every side to an axis. However, you can freely move and scale your objects on every axis. If you got a perfect sphere rotation, doesn't matter obviously. But if you scale it on one axis, you won't be able to rotate it. Means stuff like this won't work. For cylinders, you can only use them when the flat parts are on the top and the bottom. So a cylinder rotated like this won't work. So, now that you know the rules of the collision layout, you can start adding objects to build it. Let's start with the box. Just create a new box in the scene. Make sure it's named like this, Box 001. If you would make a second box, it should be named Box 002. The names are important, or else the tool will ignore those objects. What we're going to do with this new box is we're going to align it to our stage mesh. We're basically going to do this for every object we want collision for. So next, do the same for the sphere. Also, the name is important here and should be Sphere 001. And now comes the cylinder. Once again, the name is important and it should be Cylinder 001. Once you finish your collision layout, you can delete the original stage meshes, so you only got the collision layout in the scene. And now you can just export the scene as an FBX. You might notice those 2 Python scripts. Those are also included in the stage template folder. Those will help us determine whether you can walk on a collision or float on it. But first, we need to convert the FBX to collision files. Just drag it on the HavokFBX to do so. This will give you 3 new HKX files, which are the collision. Now we need the Python scripts, and they have to be in the same folder as your HKX files. Just choose the one you need and execute it. I need the float one right now, so I'm going to use that one. Once it's finished, you should have a new result.xml file. We're going to need it later for our hitbox group entry. And now we can start to work on the .map file. So just convert it with the XenoXMlConverter, and this will give you a new folder and a new XML. The folder basically holds all the collision files. So just copy your new HKX files into that folder. Next, we need to do some work in the XML. Since there's a lot of stuff we don't need right now, just collapse everything so you find the stuff we need easier. Right now we need to work on the list hitbox group, so just expand that one. We're going to insert our new collision at the bottom of that list. So scroll down till you reach the point of the last hitbox group. That's the point where we're going to insert our new hitbox group we're going to create now. In the stage templates folder, you will find a hitbox group entry template. So open that one up, and all you need to do here is fill in the names. Since we work on the collision for BFTN04, we just use that name. And now we need the result.xml, which was created by the Python script. You will see that it will have a destruction entry for every HKX file. All we need to do is select everything and copy it. In our template, we need to replace the destruction part with the stuff we just copied. So just select it like this and paste. Once that's done, our hitbox group is ready to be inserted into the map. Just select everything in the template and paste it right after the last hitbox group entry. You can now save it and inject it into the map. To do so, just drag the XML into XenoXMlConverter. You can delete the folder and the XML and drag the map into the XenoXMlConverter again. This will rename the new HKX files and update the index of them. Those are our new HKX files. As you can see, they got renamed already. The first number here is our index that we need to remember for the object entry. So open the XML again, and what we need to do now is we're going to redo the whole object entry. We need to find the object entry for our BFTN04. If you don't know about object entries yet, I suggest that you check out part 2 of the stage tutorials. And once you found it, you will see a hitbox group index with a value to it. That value just means that it doesn't have a collision assigned. You can't just change the value to your new index, since if you convert the map without the correct hitbox group index, it will cut some important stuff regarding collision on conversion. That's the reason why we need to redo the object entry. So just follow the same process you learned in part 2 already. In the stage template folder, you will find different templates. This one will give the object a dynamic shadow. This will give the object the holographic effect of stage boundaries if you collide with it. And this one doesn't have any effects. Open one and just fill in the required information. When you're done, just select and copy everything. In the map XML, select the old object entry and just replace it. Now we need to fill in the correct hitbox group index. You can check it again in the folder with the HKX files. In our case, it would be 27. So just set the value to 27. Now you can save it and inject it again in the map. You can now drag the map in your stage folder and test it in the game. If you did everything correctly, your float objects should have proper collision. And as you can see, you can't walk on the collision. Next, we're going to work on the other collisions so that you're able to walk on it. The process is pretty much the same, so start again by converting the model you want to give collision to, FBX, and import it in 3ds Max. In our example, it would be BFTEN05. Building the collision layout works and follows the same rules as before, so just start building it. I included the donut shape here to show you how to make collision for objects that aren't one of the 3 shapes. You basically use the 3 shapes available to rebuild the mesh. For this case, the best would be to use a lot of spheres to rebuild it. Once again, you cannot rotate your collision objects, but you can move them and scale them on every axis. I'm going to speed that part up till I finish rebuilding the shape. Once you're done with rebuilding it, it should look like this. Now that your collision layout is done, you can delete the original stage meshes. And then you just export it as FBX again and use HavokFBX to convert it to an HKX file. Since we used a lot of spheres for the donut shape, it will take a while. When it's done, you need to run the correct Python script depending on what your collision should be. In our case, we used the walk one. Convert the map again with XenoXMlConverter and put your new HKX files in the folder. Use the hitbox group entry template just like you did before to create your new hitbox group. Don't forget to copy the whole result XML over the destruction entry in the template. When you're done with the template, just insert it in the map XML as a new entry. And do the same as before, inject it into the map, delete the folder and the XML, and reconvert it to get the proper names and indexes of the new HKX files. And as you can see, the new index is 28. And don't forget to redo the object entry and assign the correct hitbox group index value. And that's it. Save it and inject it back into the map. Drag the map in your stage folder and you're ready to test it in the game. Now your walk objects will have proper collision too. And if you go on the top of it, you will see that you are able to stand and walk on them. So, if you followed all 3 tutorials, you should now be able to create your first fully custom stage. There are still a few cool things you can do to give your stage a better look, like proper materials, normal maps, shadow maps, edit the light of the stage, adding animation to objects, but that will be covered in the next parts. Until then, you can start making your own stages and I see you guys in the next video.